Welcome to the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. I'm Heath, and it's time to get into the bite. All right, folks, welcome to the show. South Florida's ultimate resource for everything local fishing. Over what's biting, who's catching it, where it's being caught. We're also going to cover your future marine forecast, moon phase, and tide charts. Everything you need to know to help keep you in the bite locally. Before we get into this stuff, if you want to learn more about fishing, grow as an angler, great and exciting offshore fishing adventures, you can start by hitting the subscribe button and joining the South Florida Water Fishing family. All right, folks, we had a fairly eventful weekend. Even though the weather wasn't exactly perfect, people still got out there and made it happen. So let's get right into it, and then we'll talk about what's coming up for this week. Yeah, and it's hit or miss with the weather, but hey, the fishing is still on fire. So let's start out right now. We got Captain Alex out of Marathon. He's up in Alaska for the summer, and of course, he likes to send his pics. This is a lingcod. I had to ask what it was. Lingcod. There we go. Great catch from Captain Alex up there in Alaska for the next couple of months. When he gets back, he will be in town and ready to go for business. All right, let's keep on with our. I know we got some inshore stuff here. I saw a snook. So snook are biting, right? We're looking forward here in a couple of months the mullet run, but right now it's pilchards and cigar minnows, all that bait that hangs out real shallow offshore. Get your sabiki rig, go get you some live bait. This is Josh. Josh got him a nice line sider right there. And believe it or not, there's several different types of snooks, but I'm not going to get into it right now. And this is one of them. If you're a snook fisherman, you probably know you can pick them out real easy. Anyway, great catch for Josh. Let me see if there's any other inshore stuff. Not really. Most of it's the pelagic stuff, folks. We still got mahi and tuna bite going on. So let's go to the direct page and share what some folks have been putting out. We got Pedro and Anna. They went out and they, what did he say? 2.5 hours, brutal heat, flat as a lake. But they did get a ton of bonita. 90, 100, 120, 150. And yes, bonita are going to be a nuisance this time of year. If you want to get away from the bonita, you got to go 200. The bonita don't hang out there. You won't really find them deeper than 200. So here we go. Pedro and Anna getting in on that reef bite with the mutton snapper. And that's a good sized porgy. So here we go. They're swimming around, right, folks? The snappers are still swimming around. So go and get them if it's your thing. Also, while we're here, I'm wanting you to know I'm starting to put views of the ocean, what it looks like in the up and coming weekend, according to WindFinder, if it looks promising or not. Just to let you know, we'll go over maybe that correct at the end of the show again. Let's keep on keeping on. I know I saw here Sean headed out. This does not look like he's on his jet ski, but could be. I don't know. Caught a few mahi Friday and Saturday, 25, 24, 22. Threw back a bunch of peanuts on Friday. Hits came from blind trolling in fishy water. Okay, there you go. 4-foot barracuda said he caught, kept him working the area. Plenty of life round, solid weed line out of Port Everglades, and he said it was loaded at 850, I guess is where he found the dolphin. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can get any better views. We got some nice dolphin, definitely. Yep. Oh, he is on the jet ski. Yes. He is on that. It just looked like a boat from the other view. All right. So, yeah, hey, heading out there on your jet ski, man, getting way out there with the, the boats and doing it. That's awesome. Sean's putting in the work, and obviously he's coming home with the fruits of labor, right? And there's that barracuda, hey, old stinky, right? Ah, there we go. Flying inside of the dolphin. There we go. All right. So, yeah, Sean's on the dolphin. And like I said, right now, that is the talk of the town, right? You've got folks with, they're catching dolphin everywhere. You just got to get out there and find them. A couple of weeks ago, actually last weekend, they were in between 1,000 and 1,500. They might be coming in closer. You just got to find, and what I was hearing a lot was no weeds to be found. So you were having to find birds, fish the slicks, or just running around trolling. Here we go. We got a couple of guys from South Carolina. This is Inio. He put in a cobia bite Awesome. They got it done up in South Carolina. Hey, you know, it's not reporting down here, but still, thanks for putting in the post, and, you know, get your showcase right there. Great job, guys, on that doubled up cobia. All right, let's take a look at what else we got going on. Where's my thing? Here we go. Monday. All right. Like I said, pelagics, right? Pelagics are the talk of the town. We got a couple of Wahoo to show off. This is Tyler. Him and a buddy. I'm not sure which one of them is Tyler, but hey, they got a nice Wahoo, right? It takes two people to hold that bad boy up, and they're on like a solid sport fish rig going on there. Great catch, Tyler. And we also got Jim, 4J's Charters out of Boynton Beach. Nice Wahoo. And he said this was this young man's dream fish. So, I mean, hey, what more can you get? You go out with a solid captain like Jim on 4J's Charters, and you get put on the fish of a lifetime, what you were looking happy, you know, very happy customer. There we go. Again, Jim, 4J's Charters out of Boynton Beach. If you're looking for a charter in that area, hit him up. If you can't get a hold of him, contact me. I can put you in touch with him very simply. All right. We got Robert. There he goes. Said he caught 4 mahi on Saturday morning. Nothing to brag about, but still fun for the kids. Hey, listen, catching mahi and getting the kids on them is definitely something to brag about. And you're going home with some good food, you know, definitely, you know, some of the best eating in the ocean. We've all got our preferences, but, you know, mahi is the fish that made trolling famous. So, great job, Robert. Let's keep on keeping on. Here we go. Jeff got a couple of tuna. This would be the biggest. There we go. So, like I said, the tuna are swimming around. So, you know, just a general rule of thumb, the tuna are hanging out between 200 and 300 feet. The bigger ones are going to be down a little deeper. So, you'll have to jig them up or troll planer for them or live bait them up. The smaller guys, the footballs, are going to be up on top. Just something to consider if you were going out there tuna fishing. All right. Great job, Jeff. Thank you for the submission. James, this is another one out of town, West End, Grand Bahama. They didn't do much fishing in the Bahamas, but he said heading back, they found a little bit of weeds, right? Trolled the weed line on the way home, got a nice little dolphin. There we go. Going home, getting some tacos after, you know, the nice trip back from the Bahamas. Good job there, James. Thank you for the submission. Another one, Joshua Frazier. He's just tossing fish everywhere in the grass. He got 4 dolphin and a couple of kingfish right there. There's the KD, part of the KDW. Perfect. Good eats. You know, fire up the smoker and some tacos. So these are the fish. Also, we haven't seen many kingfish posts, but they are swimming around right now. Granted, you've got a good deal of scattered weeds over your reef, so you will have to deal with that when you're planer trolling. But the kingfish bite has been solid. I've seen the charter captains. They're lacing into them. So don't be afraid to get out there and get in on the king bite. All right, let's see. And here's proof of it. Jason Reese, Guggen the Pro Offshore Angler YouTube channel. Friday evening, $178 right out of Hillsborough Inlet. 178 for black fins and mahi. So I guess he's got a dolphin in there. I guess it's back here. I'm not sure. Anyway, Jason is a great angler and you know, father figure. Takes his son out. Parker takes him out diving and does everything. So his son got his first Grand Slam being the kingfish, the mahi, and the tuna. Hey, perfect. Great job. Get them hooked while they're young. Blackfin on small green squid behind a bird teaser. Caught the king on a number 6 planer. So again, like I said, folks, the kings are swimming around. Don't be afraid to get out there and go for them. King was on a blue and white Gulfstream Lures Zoomwich squid with flash switch, blue and silver Nita strip. That's a chunky lure right there, but it got the job done, didn't it? Yes, and obviously Jason knows what he's doing when it comes to getting into the bite. There we go. Good job, Jason. Thanks for the submission as always and being active in the community. Here we go. Lafayette Malone. Got the little one on a nice little bull dolphin. Awesome. Like I said, get them hooked young. Get them out there. Get them excited to catch fish and even more so to eat them, right? That's what you're hunting the sea, right? Instead of going out looking for deer and elk and bears and possums and whatever you hunt. Did I just say possum? Yes, I did. We're hunting the sea. We're hunting for mahi and tuna and cobia and sailfish and all that good stuff. John, with says a legal size scamp. Perfect, man. Yeah, you putting in the work and going after them deep water groupers. Man, good deal when you bring one up to the boat and you get them in, and that's dinner. Thanks for the submission. Yeah, we're in the middle of grouper season, folks. Some groupers have closed down, though. Remember, snowy grouper is done, and if gag grouper isn't already closed, it will be closing soon. But, you know, your yellow edges, your red groupers, all those other ones, the deep ones like the yellow edge grouper, they're still open. Red grouper season is still open, so go out there and get them while you can. More from Jason Reese, catching some dolphin and some tuna and some more dolphin. So he's definitely in the bite here. You know, again, showing his skills and prowess as an angler out in our local waters and helping folks figure it out along the way. Kevin McPherson got out there. What did he say? He definitely said 3 mahi out of Palm Beach blind trolling, 400 to 700 on Saturday. Okay. Again, we're seeing a shift, right, folks? This was this past weekend, the weekend before, the fish deeper. Now they're in a little bit more shallow, right? That 400 to 700. So, you know, and like we said, blind trolling, the seaweeds ain't there, find the birds and all that. Then this, you know, you end up with some food on the table. Thank you, Kevin. And Ryan, again, some more dolphin. Caught half a dozen keepers out of West Palm. So, again, you know, it's interesting. Let's see if we can look here, because I see some seaweed in the background right there. So the seaweed is out there. You just got to hunt it down. It's hit or miss. Like I said, I got quite a few comments about blind trolling and getting into the hookup. So, you know, just something to consider, right, folks? So that about does it for our fishing report. Lots of dolphin, right? Get out there and get them if you can. All right, so let's go on ahead and get into our weather, right? So here's what's going to happen. Weather is going to get a little bit rainy. Starting Thursday and Friday, we have a tropical disturbance that is going to come from the west and head west over the peninsula. So we're going to get rain chances are going to be elevated. Wind's going to pick up and everything like that. The later point of the weekend, come Sunday, we're going to have that air's going to tend to dry out a little bit because we got some more Saharan dust in the atmosphere that will be making it hazy, muggy, and going back to more summertime, basically the weather pattern that it should be. So let's take a look at this and we'll see what's going to happen, right? So we shall start out with windy. Now, for those of you that are new to the show, we use a couple of different weather apps and websites, and all this stuff is available in the description. You just go down there, find your favorite one, click on it. And again, as always, don't just go by these weather forecasting reports. Use real-time solutions and tools like your web beach cams, inlet cams, all that good stuff. There's a list of them that you can go and look at, or you can probably just type in what beach you're near or inlet you're near and say, like if you're for BOCA, say BOCA inlet cam. It'll pop right up on Google. All right, so let's take a look at this. This is right now. Let's look at tomorrow morning and go a little bit. So we got winds from the northeast, it looks like. So this is windy, right? On a PC, you can tap on any area and it'll tell you specifically your wind speed is in its direction, 10 knots northeast in the morning, right? Now, it doesn't work that way on a phone. It's only on a PC. And also down here, you have a color-coded chart at the very bottom, right? So if you see greens, you know you're in between 10 and 20 knots. If you see more blues, you're in between 5 and 10 knots. So that's how it works. West Coast looking pretty. Skyway Pier, guys, going to have it good to go. Everglades National Park's a bit windy, but it's about 4 or 5 inches of water, so it won't be very bumpy. The Keys, they've got some wind blowing again. Not too much of a difference. We're looking at 10 to 11 knots up and down the coast tomorrow morning, and we'll see what the waves are going to do. Tomorrow afternoon, a little bit north of Palm Beach, it looks like it lets up to about 6 knots. Not very bad. Upper Keys, same thing, a little bit slower. But we got to remember, just because the wind lets up for an hour, so it doesn't mean the ocean lets up. It takes a lot of wind change. All right, Thursday, 6 a.m. We got 5 knots from the southeast in the Tri-County area up towards Vero. Same thing, 5 knots. So the wind tends to look like it wants to calm down starting tomorrow afternoon, heading into Thursday. But remember, Thursday we're going to have this appearance of this tropical disturbance, and we'll see what happens if it shows up here on windy. If not, like I said, I got this information from local forecasters. Now we go to our computerized version of it and see what their algorithm is going to say. Thursday evening, wind doesn't look like it's going to pick up too much. Down in the Keys, all the same, we're looking at like 6 knots from the southeast all day, 5 to 6 knots all day. Thursday, Friday morning looks even less. They're 6 knots, about the same, right? And over on the west coast, the wind's coming again from the southeast. So the wind out here, the further north you go, is actually blowing a little south and a little bit southwest, right? So yes, a little bit southwest, which would create a swell further up north. But down in the Tri-County area, Miami, all the way up to Palm Beach, you're looking at southeast. So it's just kind of curving around, skirting this side of the state. Not much difference between Thursday and Friday, 7 knots there. And it looks like it wants to pick up Friday afternoon. So that's when that disturbance is actually going to go away. So remember, the disturbance doesn't look like it might be much of a wind thing. Let's check and see once we go into our rain buildup, the rain filter, to see what it's going to do. Saturday, 8 knots inshore, closer inshore. You're looking at like 2 knots. So that's nice and easy going Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon tends to want to pick up back to around 10 knots, 9 knots. Down in the Keys, 10. Over on the west coast near Marco Island at 3 knots from the south. But again, that's very shallow water on the west coast out to 9 miles out. It's very skinny water. All right. Sunday, looking kind of nice in the morning, 5 knots from the east. So I was taking a sneak peek at it. Looks like for those of us that can only get out on the weekend, Sunday might be actually would be the better of the two. If you were asked me from Miami, again, 5 knots. So, Sunday's looking a little bit easier. And then, of course, in the afternoon, it picks up. They got that onshore breeze. Monday, 5 knots again. So we're starting to see this pattern of where it's light work in the morning, low wind speeds, mid single digits, if not a little bit lower. And then as the afternoon approaches, we get to the low double digits, which is typical of summertime weather pattern, right? Monday, it's not even picking up too bad in the afternoon. And come Tuesday morning, we're staying the same from our overnight, about 7 knots from southwest. The more northerly we go, down in the Keys, you're looking at 3 knots. So, come Tuesday morning, the Keys are looking at, some light stuff in the morning. And it doesn't really tend to pick up. It picks up in the Tri-County area north in the afternoon, as we can see right here, up to 13 from the south. In the southwest, further north you go, but down in the Keys, they're still, they don't really pick up too much. All right, so that's our wind. Let's see, Wednesday, not much of the same. So we're looking at, low single digits. Let's go back to tomorrow morning, and we're going to look at let's look at wave heights, right? So again, it works the same way. Click anywhere, it will tell you what your wave heights are. Tomorrow morning, right around the Palm Beach, Broward line, 2 feet from the east at 4 seconds. Got to pay attention to that period, right, folks? You got a close period, it's going to be choppy. You got a longer 7, 8 seconds, that's more of a swell. and it tells you your wave direction too. So down in the Keys, they're looking at 3 foot, 4 seconds. Tri-County area, 2 foot. So that's tomorrow morning. Not too bad, right? And I think we're going to see that it's going to be about the same throughout the week. In the afternoon, it picks up a little bit because of that onshore breeze. Thursday morning, light. Again, looking at lighter stuff. Even down in Miami, they're looking at 1 foot, up towards Vero Beach. Good stuff. Not bad. Again, we've got the rain event that's going to come through here on Friday and then kind of peter out as we go into the weekend. Thursday afternoon comes down. Gonna have a nice calm sea all Thursday if you can deal with technically what they're saying with the rain coming. Friday, again, stays the same. 1 foot down in the Keys, the lower Keys, 2 foot upper Keys, 1 foot. So through this whole stretch of the East Coast, folks, Friday morning is looking very good. Again, as long as that rain doesn't put any damper on you. So Friday, we're looking at 1 foot seas throughout the day, sort of resembling what happened this past weekend where we had Friday and Saturday that were the good days. Saturday, still 1 foot seas according to WindFinder. I'm sorry, Windy, not WindFinder. And it stays that way throughout the day. Doesn't pick up much. So Saturday is actually looking like a good day. Sunday, again, looking at the same thing. So Sunday, we're saying 1 foot seas, which is great. So both days. So Friday, if the weather holds off, good. So Thursday through Sunday so far is looking, as long as your rain conditions don't hinder any fishing trips. And we're staying at Sunday afternoon, it starts to pick up again. Monday. So we're looking at a 5-day stretch of seas that are not going to be too bad. 1 foot sea Saturday through Monday so far. Hello from Brazil. Awesome. Thank you for watching. Monday, Tuesday, 1 foot seas. So yeah, it's we're looking at light work according to this for the wave heights. And again, and it looks like even down in the Keys going into the middle of the week, they're even better. So good stuff. All right, let's take a look at our rain. We're going to go to tomorrow. Rain and thunder. So tomorrow morning, storms offshore, a little bit more than what you would expect inland, but scattered storms. And in the afternoon, it kind of peters out. So it's almost reverse of what's happening, but that's with that disturbance. Let's see if they got this disturbance. Yeah, this is the disturbance I was talking about. So let's see what it's going to do. That's Thursday. Not much. So, in the morning, in the afternoon, it tends to, build up over land, which is typical of our summertime weather pattern anyway. But you can be guaranteed. So Friday, not much. The disturbance it looks like, according to here, like it wants to stay offshore, which is good. So, Thursday and Friday, not too bad in the way of rain for us. Come Friday afternoon, though, obviously, this is your weather pattern. So, if you're out in the afternoon, just be wary of it. Saturday morning, clear. Again, having some Saharan dust come in and dry out the atmosphere. Saturday is a regular day. Not much in the morning, and then your afternoon showers. Sunday, some Saharan dust will start coming in. Offshore storms in the morning, and in the afternoon, that same pattern. Monday, again, it doesn't look, according to this, doesn't look like the Saharan dust is going to completely dry out the atmosphere, but it will be hazy out there. So if you're out there on the boat, and this is Monday afternoon, if you're out there on the boat, any of these latter day and the weekends, and you see a haze in the sky, that's the Saharan dust, folks. And what we're really looking for is clear skies. That way we can get out and we got 5 more weeks of tile fish, right? No, 4 more. Closes July 22nd. So here's Tuesday in the morning and Tuesday in the afternoon, same weather pattern, right? So, according to Windy, it doesn't look much like that. That tropical disturbance is going to drop a bunch of rain, but you never know. Good grief, it's during the week, because the bulk of us can want to get out there for, either Saturday or Sunday. All right, now we're going to go to WindFinder. This is another weather app, just the numerical version of what we just looked at. Well, let's take a look at it, right? So here we are today. We'll look at tomorrow. Low double digits all day, not bad. Seas around 2 feet. Okay, which kind of at a 4-second period, which dives with what they're saying. Waves coming from the east, not much moisture, a little bit around midday. So, you're obviously a scattered shower or two. Don't be surprised. Heading into Thursday and Friday is where we're going to get our good weather stuff going on, right? So Thursday work, and then here. Okay, so Thursday night is where this rain event is going to happen, according to them, which is good. So, it keeps everyone out of the weather if you want to get out. So Thursday, you're looking good. 2 foot to 1 foot, 1 to 2 foot waves, 4, 5, 6, 7-second periods. So you're going to have, it'll be laying down really good Thursday. Just be sure, you get out there and watch out for the storms. They're saying it's 50% chance of rain. So, just bear that in mind. Friday, same thing, southeast winds, a little variation going on in the afternoon. Low, bringing it way down to low double digits. The waves, they're saying 2 to 3, but, let's see what happens. 6 to 7-second period. Not much moisture until the nighttime comes. Saturday, very southeast winds, basically. And it looks, here we go. So we're moisture and cloudy in the morning. So it's something to consider if you're picking between Saturday and Sunday. We're looking at, 2 foot wave heights, 1 to 2 foot, 6 to 7-second, 8-second period going on Sunday. So it's actually pretty good. Sunday is looking at, if you're going out deep, dropping in the middle of the day after the bite slows down, have some clouds, but sun and clouds, perfect conditions for getting out there and dropping it right on the towelfish head. So, Saturday, they're saying here, Windy was saying 1 foot seas. Again, use your real-time resources, your webcams and beach cams, inlet cams, and that will that'll give you the reality of it. Especially if you look and see maybe the day before, see what it looked like, and you can plan your stuff from there. It's kind of hard if you want to get out at the crack of dawn. These webcams aren't very active, then it's hard to see what's going on. Monday into Tuesday, it looks like we're going to start getting some of the rainy stuff midday and carrying on sporadically throughout the day. Hit or miss here or there, scattered showers. So, and remember, these are Florida showers, so they last about 5-10 minutes. Our wind, however, is picking up still from this east, southeast, 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 something like that. Low to mid double digits both days. And as you can see, moisture in the sky. Waves not changing much, still with a longer period, 6 to 7-second period, about 2 foot. So it's going to be wet out there. So come Monday, even though the ocean is going to be agreeable, the have clouds and weather firing up all over the place. So the chance that you might have to outrun a storm or two is highly likely. So it's looking, Sunday is looking like the sunny day, and Thursday and Friday. So not too bad. Not too bad what we got going on there. All right. Let's check out our moon phase for those of us that like to fish by the moon. Do a little bit of explaining there too. See what we got going on. All right. Okay. I'm sorry, zoned out looking at something real quick. All right, so here we are right now. We are waning. Waning means you are heading towards the dark side of the moon. Waxing means you're heading towards the full moon. So we're almost at a new moon. We'll be at a new moon tomorrow. Here we are, Tuesday, Wednesday, new moon. Thursday, we start waxing, going to the full moon. So here's the thing about it being dark right like it is right now. You don't want it. The total darkness, absence of all light, is best for bait fishermen, especially. Hey, there we are. We're back up. All right, perfect. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And we're back. Jeez Louise. Sorry about that, folks. All right. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2%. Friday, oh wait. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 6%. Saturday, 13%. Sunday, 21%. And starting to head into early next week, right? We got 30% on Monday, 39%. So Sunday. So here's the good thing. When the moon is illuminated barely like this, I always tend to think that's the best time to go out for the pelagics, like dolphin and tuna. Also, your mackerel bite tends to be manipulated by the full moon. They tend to eat a little bit more aggressively as you approach the full moon. What that phenomenon is, I wish I knew. But I do know that the moon being less illuminated for when it comes to pelagics like dolphin and tuna, they don't see the bait all night long, so they're not eating, they're feeding less, which means they'll eat more aggressively during the day when they can. When you've got a fully illuminated moon, the bait shines, it reflects noise and everything, and the pelagics are eating all darn night, which makes them a little bit more finicky come the daytime. All right, so that's our moon. We're heading into the new moon, and come next week, as we head towards the latter part of the week, you'll be on that full moon schedule where you can go out and go for your mackerels, and they should be biting a little bit more aggressively. All right, now let's talk about tide charts before I get cut off by the internet again. Hey, if I was a multi-million-dollar TV channel or something like that, that might not happen, but we're here working with what we got on my little Wi-Fi hooked up to the PC antenna, and for some reason it likes to cut out right when we're doing this. Lord have it if it did at any other time. All right, tomorrow, we are on the outgoing tide. We're on the incoming tide as the sun rises and as the sun sets. So the thing about tides, right, especially for everyone who fishes your inlets, especially the land-based guys, even if you are also, if you're reef fishing, drifting, trying to troll out in front and get that bite off that, you cannot have the incoming tide. You don't want the tide coming in. The tide has to be going out for the inlets and that fishing to work. If you are fishing an inlet and the tide is coming in, you're going to catch nothing. We go over this week after week, and we will keep going over it week after week because it's vital information that folks need to know so that they don't waste their time. You need the outgoing tide, but you also have to have it timed to where it is, in the morning or in the afternoon as the sun sets. An outgoing tide like this in the middle of the day doesn't really help because the fish bite slows down in the middle of the day. The fish disperse over the reef. So as we head into Thursday and Friday, we still got, the incoming tide. So the tide is not on your side this week as the two prime times to fish, which are, dusk and dawn. Coming in Sunday morning, you'll probably be right at the slack tide. And as night falls, we're in the summer solstice days, right? So the days are longer. You got about a third of the way into the rising tide. Now, if you hit it in the afternoon about 4 o'clock, you still got a little bit of the outgoing tide, and then so on and so forth. Coming Monday and Tuesday, you'll actually be at the very end of the outgoing tide, as the two prime times to go fish would happen, which are the morning time and dusk. Again, so let me explain to this real quick, and we will move on with why it's very important to fish that outgoing tide. The outgoing tide pushes out all sorts of sediments, phytoplankton, microorganisms, chlorophyll buildups, everything, and that's where the little fish come in, and they feed on that stuff, and then the big fish come in and feed on that. That is the cycle of life around tidal flows when it comes to inlets. So just remember, no outgoing tide, don't do it. All right, that is it for our weather report. All right, folks, before we head out, sign off for this week. If you are in the market for fishing apparel, I just want to invite you to go check out our sponsor, WindRider. The link is in the description. Check it out. You can go get you one of these UPF 50 shirts, the ones that you don't got to wear sunscreen for. They come with hoods. You can get them with a hood and a gator built in if that's your sort of thing. You can get them with just a hood. And the best part about this is, they come with the awesome logo, the South Florida Saltwater Fishing logo. Support the brand. That's it. Can't hurt you, can't kill you. And this is not a fly-by-night company. WindRider has been around. I've been with them for quite a few years now. And they ain't going anywhere. They have a lot more than this stuff. They do winter gear. They do all sorts of stuff. But, of course, us being South Florida anglers, these are the shirts that we need. The UPF 50 sunscreen protective shirts. They come in many different colors, and you can get the logo on the front, on the back. These shirts dry real quick. They have what's called a wicking effect, which means you get them wet, they're going to dry real quick. They keep you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and they're fairly darn stain resistant, which means when the mahi are flopping around and the blood's going everywhere, just bring it home, a little bit of spray and wash, throw it in there, you know, and it'll come out looking like it's brand new. And I'm speaking from experience. So yeah. So again, if you're in the market for some fishing apparel, go on ahead, check it out. You know, you see the price and you get a little bit of sticker shock. Yeah, they're on par with most of these companies, right? If you go with the bigger marketed manufacturers, and what they're selling, like Hook and Pelagic or Salt Life, and that stuff, you're going to pay upwards of, you know, $60, $65, $70 for one of these shirts. So when you look at the price, it's a fair price. Anyway, all right, there we go. That's it for that one. And last thing, folks, before we sign off, just want to invite you, if you are on Facebook, go and ask to join the South Florida Saltwater Fishing Report. This is a private fishing group. The head of the page looks like this, minus the date. Of course, it's up here, but you can't see the report part because of the blue strip, because I am the administrator. What's so important about this report is this is what drives this show every week. Folks drop a picture, say, hey, this is where I caught it. This is what they're biting. If not, just dropping a picture in and showing what's out there biting is the greatest help we can have for our angling community, right? To let people know, hey, this is what's biting. You can go out there and you can still get it. It's a private group. We don't want any bots, so you got to answer questions if you want to join. It's simple. What's your favorite fish to catch, and do you agree to the rules? The rules are simple. No soliciting junk, and you know, don't put your YouTube videos on here. If you're a YouTuber, I definitely support that. Jason Reese, Guggen the Pro, great guy all around. You know, got a great channel, very exciting. Shows lots of fishing stuff. You know, not just watching him fish, but explaining everything along the way, which is what we want, right? And then again, also, if you are a charter boat captain, we've got Jim from 4J's Charters. We've got Neil Link from Palm Beach Charters.org. Also, Emily from the Starlight 101. She periodically, that's the drift boat right out of Hillsborough Inlet. Used to be, is right parked right where the Helen S and the Fish City Pride used to be. All those folks, they, you know, generate a following, and they, you know, post stuff periodically for us to see what they're getting into the bite with. So that's the way this works, folks, right? If you are on Facebook, go on ahead and, you know, ask to join the group. Share in the joy of the South Florida saltwater fishing family. All right, folks, that about does it for this episode. We're going to go and do it, and hopefully, you know, the weekend looks like it. Just keep watching it, because these forecasts do change. They're just forecasts. They are not the whole set in stone. This is the way it's going to be. Visions of the future can change. All right. So just keep that in mind. And, you know, hopefully it stays good and everyone can get out there. Till next Tuesday, South Florida saltwater fishing, going wherever the cool wind takes us.